red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time, yes, the most wonderful time, oh, the most wonderful time of the
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go. Let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderland of snow. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, it's grand, just holding your hand. We're gliding along with the song of a wintry fairyland. Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy, cozy are we. We snuggle close together like two birds of a feather would be. Let's take that road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. There's a birthday party at the home of Farmer Gray. It'll be the perfect ending of a perfect day. We'll be singing the songs we love to sing without a single stop. At the fireplace where we'll watch the chestnuts pop. Pop, pop, pop. There's a happy feeling nothing in this world can buy. When they pass around the coffee and the pumpkin pie, it'll nearly be like a picture print by Currier and Ives. These wonderful things are the things we remember all through our lives. These wonderful things are the things we remember all through our lives. snuggle close together like two birds of a feather would be. Let's take that road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. It's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Let's go! Lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Hurry up, you guys!
Every city street would be celebrating. All the evergreens would be decorated. And there'd still be a million lights. There'd still be mistletoe. But it wouldn't feel the same, 'cause all I know is Christmas isn't Christmas if it's not with you. Red and green and silver bells would all be blue. All the presents are just boxes with no one to give them to. 'Cause Christmas isn't Christmas.
Hey, my friend, and welcome in. You have found Heights Online Weekend Countdown. My name is Owen. I got a friend with me I'm going to introduce to you in just a second. In the meantime, you can just admire her American flag earrings, which are on point. And I just realized it's on theme.
100%.
Because at first I was like, American flag, and then I get it. I got it.
Yes.
I got it. Okay, so
I
we're
love
gonna
a good theme.
we're gonna
Okay.
explain the theme to you here in a second. But first, just want to welcome you in and let us be the first to say to you, Merry Christmas. And we just love Christmas. Obviously, it's celebrating Jesus' birth, his arrival to earth, and all of that means for us. And so we are just in a very festive mood, and just love to welcome you in to join us in that mood. So, in case you don't know who we are Heights Church. We're out in Prescott, Arizona, and we're here to help you live the life you were created for in Jesus. And this online space is just one of the ways that we are here to help you do that, by just being social, having fun, getting to know each other. And we're counting down to the start of our live service from our Prescott location right here at 10:30. By the way, I just want to let you know, if you are suddenly feeling very festive and Christmassy and want to come and join us in person, you can so do that. If you're in the Quad Cities area, we're located in a spot you can get to us from just about anywhere in 15, 20 minutes. And so we're located near the airport out here in Prescott. We're also down in Prescott Valley at the Fabulous Park Collective this morning, also at 10:30. So whether you're in PV, that's down Dewey, Mayer, all that jazz down there, you can come up and join us. Or if you're up here in the Prescott area, come by and see us too. And we'd love to have you in person. Or if not, just stick around and enjoy as we get this celebration started today. We got, I want to say a big thanks to Justin on the controls with us today. He lucked out and did not get producer cam like we normally have, so I'm just able to just say whatever I want about Justin, and he can't say anything back. We got, like I said, services coming up here in about 30 minutes from now. In the meantime, I got one of my favorite Heights people right here sitting next to me. Seriously, you're one of the best. And we are celebrating Christmas in style today. This is Angela. So guys, in the chat, say hello to Angela. Speaking of chat, I just invite you just to jump in and take this thing up a notch by actually saying hello and let us know where you're joining us from and what the temperature is like in your part of the world. It was chilly this morning when we woke up.
It was.
What was it like at your house? Are you one of those? I bet your husband has a thermometer.
You know what?
Like on the front porch? Is he one of those guys?
We do have a thermometer on the back porch.
Okay.
Yes. But we also have the remote start. So, like for your car.
Okay, now we're fancy.
I know. Well,
You guys are fancy.
I'm cold all the time. So, I go in my laundry room and I hold it and I wait for my cars to come on because I do not do cold
was
well.
cold
I
this
don't
morning,
love it.
though. There was a little
just,
frost
The
on
scarf
them.
does nothing.
There was frost on the window this morning. It was cold.
Yeah, that
I think
is
it was
cool.
like 20 degrees this morning when I woke up.
Okay, so last night when we were driving home, I was looking at the temperature in the car. It was like 63. I'm like, why does he have the air conditioning on? But then I looked at the thing and I was like, 30 something. So,
Freezing.
it's bad when you have that temperature in your car, and
Yeah,
that's
and it's
supposed
like
to
the
keep you
heater's
warm.
on. It's like,
Yes.
oh look, it's 60.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So no, I don't do go to cold at all.
All right, well, let us know where you're joining us from. What's the temperature like there today? And I would also love to know, I'm going to ask you this question,
Okay.
too, as we get set up. Because I've got kiddos, like you probably know, they're 8 and 6. So they're at a great age. We're having a lot of fun with them. But I feel like my wife Sarah and me, we're always still feeling like we haven't totally dialed in like our Christmas traditions, like for kids, like fun things to do with your
Okay.
kids.
Yeah.
So you have been in the stage of life where we are already. Had some kids at that age,
Yeah.
and a lot of you have too. And I think you even have grandkids too, maybe. You know, so I would love to know from you guys, great fun traditions for kids around Christmas, stuff you love to do with your kids and grandkids. Drop it in the chat and let us know. And then for you, I mean, I don't know, you got any fun like kid-friendly traditions that you guys do when you had kids in our stage?
Yeah, you know, usually Christmas lights, I think, is always a thing we did when they were little. They would get into the car and we'd just drive around the
see
neighborhood,
Christmas lights.
go see Christmas lights. We usually would make some type of random craft.
Okay.
And so now my kids are grown,
Okay.
and they were just up for Thanksgiving, and some of their paper crafts that don't have hooks or anything, they just take and they would just hit it onto the tree, and then the Christmas branch would just poke right through it.
Okay.
And so every year they're still 20-something years old, and they take out that same piece of paper and just stick it right on a branch.
Oh, that's...
So most likely my tree will catch fire at some point, but that'll be an adventure.
All right, I'm trying to visualize this. So like your tree's covered in like paper?
Oh, my tree is covered in all types of random art projects, and I used to not even allow those on the tree. I had a whole...
But to
I had
this
an
day,
issue.
do you still have like they're
100%.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really sweet.
So they just
What a
did it on
cool
Thanksgiving,
idea.
and yeah.
Okay, I love that idea.
So they usually make something that we'll laugh about in a few years, and
That's really
Yeah.
sweet. I love that.
So.
Okay. Looking in the chat, we
Okay.
got folks joining in from Ohio today.
Ooh, Ohio.
That's Elkie out there. I bet it's a little chilly in Ohio, Elkie. And we miss you here, by the way. Elkie was out here for a long time, but she gives a shout out to you. She says, "Hi, Angela."
Elkie.
You got 1984 here in the chat saying hi, Angela.
Hello.
With a
hello.
little, dropping the deuces like, "What's up,
like
girl?"
peace.
Like, "Peace, girl."
Peace out, Thanksgiving.
Boom.
We're moving on to Christmas.
And then Studio's
Okay.
joining us from Phoenix today, and she says it is 53 right now.
Oh,
So warm and so nice. And Prescott's here at 44. Yeah, we actually have a pretty nice day today.
Yeah,
it
it's
warms
true,
up
it
here.
does.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
it's true.
Okay, so you and me, I've been looking forward to this time with you all week. True
Okay.
story. Mostly, I mean, you're great,
Okay.
but it's mostly because of this beverage that I'm holding in my hand
Yes.
right now.
Okay.
Angela and me, and let's see if you guys agree with us on this. Angela and I both love Christmas,
Yes, 100%.
like with all of our heart.
All the
I mean, it's
gusto.
a 10 out of 10.
100%, yes.
The day after Thanksgiving.
Day after Thanksgiving.
Before
Cannot- yeah.
Thanksgiving, it's a 1 out of 10.
No, we can't. We
Cannot
cannot cross that. No.
Do Christmas stuff before
no.
Thanksgiving.
No.
I see it in the stores. Mm-hmm. I turn into the grumpy old man that I don't want to be. It's
I
like,
know. It goes against every fiber of my being to be a
Yes.
frowny, but yes.
Yes. Thanksgiving is awesome. We don't
Yes.
need it to be overrun by Christmas.
No, let the turkey have his day.
And so this right here,
Yes.
and I think this is you too. This
This
represents my first Christmas coffee.
Yes, I was waiting for this
We
moment
waited.
to have my first peppermint
So
mocha
let's take
of
a
the
sip,
season.
and
Okay, let's do it.
cheers to you. Peppermint mocha right here. See, oh, it's so good.
Okay, we're ready for Christmas.
And it tastes so much better because we waited. We didn't
We
get our
did.
first peppermint mocha like in October,
No.
like some other people do, which are, it's fine.
It's fine.
but
This judgment-free zone.
It's, well, not entirely.
Oh no.
There's a little bit of judgment.
Okay.
But not,
Never mind.
there's not a whole lot. We'll still be friends, but we'll look down
Okay.
on you and your
Okay.
beverage choices. No, I was kidding. But this is, peppermint mocha.
Okay, yeah, and I
You
tried
got
it with oat milk.
Yeah, okay, so tell me about oat milk. What's that oat milk situation?
Okay, so I probably shouldn't drink milk. We won't get into that online.
Okay.
But,
Tell us more about,
But I thought, you know what? Let's try something new,
okay.
and something also that you enjoy is trying new things with people.
Yes, I do love that.
You do. So I was like, you know what? Let's have oat milk today. So it actually was not bad.
Describe your first oat milk experience.
I don't feel like it was maybe as rich or as full,
Okay.
yet it didn't take away from peppermint mocha, which is
Okay.
really the star.
Okay. Does it give a different flavor? Could you tell by tasting this, like, yeah, it's oat milk, or?
I'm gonna go no. I think it feels pretty similar.
Okay.
I also don't have an awesome palate, so that could be an issue.
Okay, well, there's that.
So there's that. For me,
Yeah.
it's
It's
fine.
okay.
It works. It's
All right.
probably a great alternative.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you feel about oat milk in your coffee? Let us know
Yeah.
in the chat. Oh, I saw somebody have a sick face, but it's just because they were sick
Oh, okay.
recently. I thought that was a comment in the chat about oat milk, but
Oh,
I think
yes.
we're safe. We're safe.
Okay, we're safe.
Okay, so, well,
All right,
happy
cheers.
happy Christmas to you.
Merry
It feels
Christmas
so
to
good
you.
that I wait. I do love
Yeah.
a good peppermint mocha.
It's good. And
Almost
I have-
always just drink like black coffee, like very
Oh,
just.
yeah.
But Christmas. Wait,
Yeah.
but you said did you bring?
So I did. I brought these are like candy cane white chocolate pretzels from Costco.
Oh, these look awesome.
Can I say Costco online or do I
Yeah.
have to bleep that?
No, that we just get sponsorship dollars every time we say it. It's like there's a little cash register sound that Justin triggers
Oh yay. Okay.
every time we say
awesome.
Costco. It's great.
Sorry, Justin.
Okay, Justin, can you show everybody one of these if I hold it like this? Can you show them?
Yeah.
Here we go. There it is. Yes, in focus right there. Perfect. This is okay. So what is this? It's a pretzel.
So it's it's like a thin pretzel with
Okay.
white chocolate and like candy cane peppermint.
Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna
So
try
it's pretty
it.
nifty. I don't have one.
Now I have my mouth full, so you have to talk. Oh, then
Okay.
you just took them.
I just did. That was really terrible.
Now
Sorry.
we just has to watch us chew.
And that's a thing. Okay.
While I do that, while we
ASMR.
are chewing, let's look in the chat and say hi to some folks that are with us. Some of our favorites are here with us. Peggy is always here. So faithful to be here. Love seeing you, Peggy. She's our prayer kind of serve team person too. So if you have a prayer request, and listen, holidays we know because we're normal people. Okay, we have normal families and everything. Holidays can also be kind of challenging, and it's okay to be in that space and to drop in a prayer request for yourself or someone you know. That's okay. Do that here in the chat. We will grab those and we take those seriously. We will pray for you. Okay. So Peggy's here to pick those up. We got Diana's back. Diana's feeling better this week. We missed you recently. Diana's part of our serve team as well. Welcome everybody here in the chat. We got Lori in the chat as well. Saying good morning to all the bros and sisters out there. She's so excited to be here.
Aw,
We are
sweet.
so happy to see you
Fun.
too. We got Elkie, as I mentioned. So good to see you, Elkie, and we miss you around in person. We love having you here. We got Brian in the chat, which Brian
Brian.
has a memory with me. Speaking of making memories, that
Okay.
involves coffee and milk. And I nearly poisoned Brian.
Oh my
Because I
goodness.
did this whole taste test thing, because he's a guy who's always said, like, all coffee tastes the same.
Okay.
So he's just like, hey, it's coffee. Could be Keurig coffee, could be fancy coffee.
Okay.
It all tastes the same.
I could support that. I know this is a terrible thing to
Okay,
say,
you know what?
but I could support it.
I'm gonna fill my mouth with cookies. So you have to talk about them. Tell us more about your sad thoughts about coffee. Go ahead.
That's what basically all my coffee depends on is the creamer. So I'm pretty sure there's a good chance that maybe I like creamer more than I like coffee. So I might be that person. Like drinking it black, I can't do that. It's like, why am I drinking this?
So coffee is just a creamer delivery system.
Yes, creamer. I should call it that. Creamer delivery system.
It's okay.
It's a
Creamer delivery system.
CDS.
CDS.
Yeah.
Well, Brian came on and taste tested a bunch of coffee,
Okay.
and it had milk in it, and he's super lactose intolerant.
Oh,
and he
try
thought he was
oat
gonna
milk,
die.
Brian. It's not bad.
So, Brian, try oat milk.
Try oat milk.
And then we have Studio in the chat as well saying hi. So we love having you guys with us. Okay, so
Okay.
we're about, oh, by the way, if you're just joining us and you're wondering what in the world this thing is, so we are Heights Church. We're in Prescott, Arizona. We're all about helping you live the life you were created for in Jesus. And this is one of the spaces where we do that. We call this Heights Online.
Yeah.
And I'm eating a pretzel fudge thing, and it's delicious, and I can't talk.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Angela. Perfect.
Sure.
Great. Doing great.
Hashtag
We're doing.
snacks.
You always bring snacks. I love that. Okay, so
Okay.
online here, we're counting down to the start of our live worship gathering from our Prescott location right here. It's at 10:30 Arizona time. That's about 15 minutes from right now. In the meantime, we're just being social, enjoying interacting with you, trying some Christmas treats, having my first peppermint mocha of the season, and just overall having a good time. And we'd love for you to join us as well. You can do that a couple ways. First of all, jump in the chat, say hello. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then you'll know every time we go live, you'll get an alert. Another thing you can do is download the Heights app. Heights app just unlocks the world of Heights. It's all in your pocket. It's got everything from past sermons to ways to connect, ask for prayer, find out about our calendar of events. All that is on the app. You can check it out. Just go to heightschurch.com and then tap Heights Online. And from there, download the Heights app. Very, very easy to do. Oh, looking back in the chat right now, producer Justin, we didn't give him a camera or a microphone today because he's kind of in timeout, actually. Justin is in timeout, having a spicy, just kidding, you guys, having a spicy attitude. And then he just put in the chat, they didn't give me any cookies. Sound guy gets no love. So you know what?
Yeah, have some.
Justin, come get a
Here,
cookie,
good.
buddy, right there. Come get the cookie. All right, it's super delicious. Yeah, it is pretty good. All right, there you go. I love how sound guy sends me messages in the chat, won't actually talk to me like a human. That's fine. It's okay. Just kidding. We love Justin. He's the best. Okay, let's look. We're looking at Elkie says, what? Here's her coffee order. She says, blackberry mocha iced latte with oat milk.
Ooh, okay.
At Heights is the absolute best. So she loved when she comes to Grafton. There we go.
Might have to try that.
Paula from Temecula this morning.
Temecula.
Love seeing you, Paula. You got people
We have my sister, Joel's brother, so sister-in-law.
in Temecula?
Yeah.
What's it like in
Well,
Temecula?
now, they were Temecula, now Menifee, so maybe I got a little, I was pre-excited, I'm sorry. It's wonderful. It's nice there. I enjoy it. We go there for vacation in July.
Paula says those pretzels are amazing.
Yes, they are, Paula.
They are so good. Justin.
Good.
What do you think, Justin? Let us know in the chat. How many out of 10? I'm only talking to you through the chat. I'm not speaking to you face to face. And Peggy came to your defense, Justin, and says, Justin, poor guy. Angela Owen, give it up for the sound guy. All right, there you go. There you go. Give it up for Justin, the sound guy. Okay, so we do have you here for a reason, though.
Okay.
We've burned through a perfectly good amount of time.
We did.
And now we got to talk about the reason why you're here. And it is related to Christmas.
It is.
And it is related to those earrings that you're wearing.
Yes.
Which at first I thought they were Christmas trees. And I looked closer. They're little American flags.
They are. Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's weirdly off theme for you.
Yeah.
But then I realized it's perfectly on theme.
Yes.
So please explain yourself.
Okay,
All right.
so as part of Advent, we are having a free veteran dinner for the community, for any veteran in the community. And it's going to be a full service sit-down dinner that we have serve team that are excited to be a part of it, and they will, each table is designed to be kind of just like an intimate conversation amongst each other, and we'll have some good barbecue and some appetizers, barbecue, conversation, some apple pie, all the goods. So anyone is encouraged, if you're in the Quad Cities, we had, I think like 10, 12 people last year came up from Phoenix for the event. So anyone is welcome anywhere.
And that's
this Friday night,
Friday.
6 o'clock.
Okay. We need to RSVP.
You do need to RSVP because
Okay.
I need to know, do you want chicken? Do you want pork?
Okay,
Are you
this is
gluten-free?
fancy.
Yeah, I love fancy.
Yeah. She knows how to
But,
throw a party,
yeah,
so I would
so-
recommend coming.
So I'm excited. So all of H1 will be all decked out.
And who's
Red, white,
invited
blue.
again?
Any and all veterans,
Any,
and
all
their
veterans.
families. So if you're
Okay.
bring your spouse, your kids, and so I think
You brought props?
I did bring props.
Okay,
So we
what
have
you got?
this. Which direction do I go?
Perfect, right there. No,
Oh,
yep.
freeze.
Freeze.
Okay.
Nailed it.
I didn't paint my nails. Okay, darn it. I think they were red last year.
You know
Okay,
what?
it's okay. So this is the invitation. You can register online or my email, or you can even give me a call, whatever works.
Perfect. And we can find those. You can find those
So it's
on the Heights app.
Heights app.
On the website as well. You can go there, and I believe all of our Advent events are on our website at heightschurch.com/Advent.
Yes.
That's where they are. Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole landing page. It takes you through the whole month.
So I've got a way here. I'm about to post it in the chat. I've got a way where you can be part of offering encouragement and thanks to the veterans who will attend that dinner.
Yes.
From right from where you are. So the dinner itself, if you get a chance to come, really encourage you to do it. And it's just beautifully put together. Everybody's sitting at tables. It's really nicely done. And then we're going to be giving to everyone at those tables, right? Some notes of encouragement.
Notes of encouragement. Mhm.
Yeah. And so everybody here that's in a physical space with us is going to have a chance to create one of those physical notes. You have a chance to do the same with a note as well, because I'm going to drop this link here in the chat right now. If you go there, to this link, it's a typed form. It's just a little survey form type of deal. But you can put your note of encouragement and sign your name to it, and then we'll actually take those and print those off and make those a part of the event here in the room on Friday night. So
Yes.
I encourage you to do that. Think of a veteran that you know. Veterans this time of year, just like for many of us, right, can bring in a mixture of emotions. Some of those are happy, celebratory, but there's also can be some pain associated with the holiday too. So here's a chance to offer those notes of encouragement to a veteran. A real veteran is going to hold that note in their hands from you,
Yes.
and you'll be able to pass that encouragement along to them. So just encourage you to do that. And then once again, if you want to participate in the dinner, you can go ahead and check it out from our website. You can RSVP. The address is heightschurch.com/Advent. Okay? All right.
I'll say there is also, if anyone wants to come in person to serve, there are serve opportunities as well.
Okay.
They're welcome to do that. That'll be the same
Tell us
same
more.
page.
Same page.
Yeah. So I think when you go to Advent, there'll be a button, I want to attend, I want to serve.
Gotcha.
So it's all the same.
Perfect. Okay, now tell us about, real quick, I'm going to ask you in a minute, tell us about some other Advent stuff coming out. I'm going to look in the chat real quick.
Sure.
Got Peggy in here praying for Elkie and a request she brought. That's awesome. Thank you, Peggy, and thanks, Elkie, for bringing us that request. We got Heather in the chat saying, can you give a shout to Emily this morning who's watching from home? Emily. This shout out is for you. And in honor of you, I'm going to eat a piece of this Christmas
have
cookie.
a Christmas cookie.
Well, there you go, huh? We're
Shout
so
out,
glad
Emily.
you're here, Emily. And Heather, thanks for sending that shout out.
Yes.
Got Michael and Haiti here as well. As I chew won't talk with my mouth full. Again, I keep doing this.
That's okay.
And she says we cannot listen online today because we're going to be in person,
Oh, yay!
which we love. So we love
Awesome.
having you in person, online, however you get here to be part of it. So big shout out to you.
Awesome.
Okay, so other Advent stuff. Advent happens all December long. We're celebrating, anticipating the arrival of Jesus,
Yes.
and all that means to our broken, sad world. Jesus comes, he's the light of the world. He heals the brokenhearted. That's what his purpose is, right? And so we just kind of reenact that every year
Yeah.
with wonderful little touch points of love for our neighbors. Angela, what else can we look forward to this Advent coming our way?
So this weekend, actually, we have the Bring and Take. Let's see if I do this right this time. Okay, this direction. Okay.
What are you
Okay,
holding there?
So this is a green bag,
It's a green bag.
and it has a little list on here of food items that you can purchase. We have people picking up these bags, or I know Owen's got some options for doing it online, but you pick up a bag, you take it home, you bring it back next week with some of these items, and you drop it off, and then we're encouraging anyone that if they are in need of food, then on your way out, they can just grab a bag. So bring it if you have it, take it if you need it. That's kind of the
Beautiful.
thought behind it.
That's beautiful.
Or if you have a neighbor that's in need,
Yes,
Yeah.
if you or someone you know,
you
right?
or somebody you know. Mhm.
You want to grab a bag and make use of that, it'll be here to take. Or if you want to leave some for someone else, that's a possibility too. So again, that's happening at both our locations in person. Online next week, just a heads up, let you guys know. Next week, I'm going to have an opportunity for you to go ahead and actually give food that's going to go right toward one of our local food banks in conjunction with this project too. So if you're
Yes.
one of those folks that we love, that's with us entirely online and you're not here in a physical location, again, we love that. It's totally cool. And we're going to have a way for you to participate in Advent and spread a little bit of that love and cheer that Jesus brings to our dark world, which is awesome. What else do we need to know about Advent here in the last few minutes?
So we are going to be doing lunches for all the first responders in the Quad Cities. That's going to kind of be head up by like our life group team.
Beautiful.
And then we are doing Christmas for the World, where we will be inviting people to write notes to our global partners. So that'll be another opportunity
Beautiful.
to just share love and everyone know that there's people there that love them and just shine Jesus as much as we can.
Angela, thanks. You guys, Angela has a big hand in putting these things together. Like, she's very modest and doesn't brag about it. But she's put a lot of work in leading our family toward loving our neighbors this Christmas season. So just thanks for that.
Thank
You
you.
just know hospitality so well, and it comes through on these little touches. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. And gang, for you guys, again, check out our website, heightschurch.com/Advent. See all the opportunities there. Many of these are ways you can step in that aren't related to a weekend gathering. So whether it's for health reasons or schedule or whatever your your situation might be, where jumping in on a weekend with us doesn't work for you right now, you can still participate with us. Check it out there on the website. Or like I say, this week we got the step in. If you missed it and you're just joining us, up in the chat, Heights Church, aka me, posted a little note that's gives you an opportunity to send a veteran in our church community, in our neighborhood, a note of encouragement this Christmas. So we're doing that all as a church family. You're invited to join in through that link in the chat. So I'll post it here again in a minute when we jump off, get close to jumping off air and into the service. So look for that this week. Next week, look for a shopping list where you're going to be able to shop online and send some food to some folks that are in need of a little extra food help this Christmas as well. That's coming next week, just so you know that's happening. So, yeah, perfect. Well, just going to look real quick in the chat here, and then Angela will let you go, and thank you. Just looking in the chat. We have Amber here. Well, first of all, we got Heather. Okay, Heather. And then she says, thanks for the shout out to Emily. So there you go. We got message delivered. We see Amber in the chat. Hello and welcome to you. We're so glad you're here. And then Brian drops in a prayer request as well for his family. And Brian, we know you. We know that situation. We continue to pray for you as well, my friend. So, okay, so with that, we're just about 2 minutes away from the start of our gatherings here. Our worship gathering is about to get underway. Stick around after the worship. Okay, two things. During the service, there's going to be a special announcement about online. So pay attention to that. It's some good news about online. And so look for me. I'm going to be out there. They let me inside the big room here for this one. And then after our gathering today, stick around for some bonus conversation with Pastor John and me about today's message. So online, we're sticking with you all morning long. So stick with us. Angela, big thanks to you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For bringing
I love
snacks,
being online with you.
for sharing my first peppermint mocha of the season.
Yeah.
Cheers. My friends, turn up that volume and get ready to kick it off with some worship. We're sending it inside right now to H1. We will see you on the flip side.
Well, good morning, Heights family. How are we doing this morning? Okay, I think you guys can do a little better than that. It's 10:30. How are you guys doing this morning? All right, there we go. I knew you were doing better than that. Well, welcome to you this morning. We are just grateful to be together. If you're joining us for the first time or you're just kind of still checking us out, we are extra grateful that you're with us today. My name is Joanna. I'm one of the worship leaders here at Heights, and I just forgot to welcome the online people. We are so glad that you are with us as well. But I will be out in the lobby or around campus after service, and if I've never met you, I would love to say hello, so please feel free to come track me down. I was just reminded this week, not something that I don't already know, but, you know, worship is all about just giving praise to Jesus, right? And yet, it's so easy to get distracted. You know, for us, when we stand up here, we're distracted by whether or not we're doing the right thing or something that doesn't go quite right. Or maybe for, you know, when we're standing in a congregation, we're a little thrown off by maybe somebody who doesn't quite sing on pitch or can't quite clap on time. And yet, the whole point is just that we would draw near to Jesus in worship, that we would focus our heart and our mind on him in that time. And so with that, would you stand and let's sing and just fix our eyes on Jesus.
Come, let us bow at his feet. He has done great
Sing, you give life. You give life. You are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. You give No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights with love, found me 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, there is no love like your love. We're so baffled by it. We're overwhelmed by it. We have no words to describe it quite right because there's nothing like it. Thank you for that. Pray in Jesus' name.
Well, good morning, church. Go ahead and have a seat. Have a seat. It's good to be here with y'all this morning. Hey, my name is Kyle, and I'm one of the pastors here at Heights Church. Good morning. And I oversee the guest services team, and I'm over the teams here in Prescott, but also over in PV. And we have a team that puts together a Saturday night dinner twice a month. And it's just this amazing evening where we get to invite our community in. And that dinner's been growing and growing and growing. And a few months ago, the team leader came over to me and said, hey, I'm just feeling really overwhelmed by all this. It's growing way too fast. I need some help. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll see what I can do. I'll ask around and see if we can get some folks to come help you. Well, we leave the space out in the lobby and we go back into the commons area where we serve the dinner. And I'm telling you, it's like 2 minutes tops. We're in one space to the next, 2 minutes tops. It's important. And I'm standing there, and this family walks in. This family walks in, and this guy comes up to me and he says, I just retired. I've been a chef for 40 years, and I don't know what to do with myself. I guess I could use you. And then his wife's like, well, I bake. Do you think you could use me? And I'm like, yeah, I think we could use that. And their son, a 15-year-old son, says, well, I don't cook, but I can serve. And I'm telling you, that family has been serving nonstop since. And it's just, yeah, give it up, guys, give it up. And that is a celebration of the generosity of this church, guys. Up on the screen is a few different ways that you can be a part of that mission. We are here. The Heights Church exists to impact our community, and we are working hard to do that. Your generosity goes towards that mission, and you are very much a part of that. Just wanted to let you know that. Another celebration over in PV. Last night we had a pretty large event called Kickoff to Christmas. Bunch of our Heights family members got together. We invited the community all week long to come for a free dinner after service. Had several hundred people come out. Now, what's really cool about that is I've been around here for quite a while, 5 or 6 years, and I have a lot of just tremendous memories, phenomenal memories. Christmas, Easter, all these events that we do, and they mean a lot to me. They mean a lot to me. And last night we had the opportunity to create some new memories for our new church family out in PV, served up good, I'd say at least 300 bowls of chili. We were all cold together and it was awesome. It was awesome. So this church, guys, is moving. This church is moving. In just a few moments, Pastor John's gonna be coming out and he's gonna be kicking off a new sermon series called Advent. Advent is actually a Latin word for Adventists, which is coming. And so in the Christian world, we have this season where we're just full of anticipation, full of excitement. And we get to just create this month-long event of extra layers of love in anticipation of our King Jesus and his birth. But before that, we've got a quick announcement, something kind of big in the life of Heights Church. And we're gonna have Pastor John and Pastor Owen come out and announce that. So if you guys would, let's give it up for Pastor John and Pastor Owen.
Well, welcome in all of our locations. We're so glad you're with us from Paulden to Prescott Valley. Welcome, Prescott. Welcome. Glad you're here. We can clap. There was two of you. We might as well all go.
They're like, can we clap for ourselves? Is that okay?
Is that fair? We didn't clap for the others, but can we clap? We just want to slow down for a minute before we get into Advent, just to let you know just some stuff going on within the church. So we knew when we started out with Park Collective in Prescott Valley and launching another location that there was going to be growth that happened. And we thought we had about 1.5 years for that growth to happen. It turns out we had like 6 months before there was just a couple of areas within the church that just started needing more care and more shepherding than we could do with just Owen over there. And so for those of you that know, Owen's been anchored into Prescott Valley and Park Collective for the last 3 years, 2 years?
Yeah, back 2019 we started this.
Before it was even a campus and you were trying to convince people that, hey, we actually have a location that is gonna be.
I got 3 years ago this Christmas, I got all those questions like, hey, what's it like to be the pastor of an imaginary church? Felt good, really good.
I'm sure it did. And so now that it's actually established and growing, there's another change that's happening. And so those of you on the online family, you already know that you're there. But at the online live gathering every week, there's just a bunch of people that meet in that space. And then during the week, there's even more that connect to that space. And so we're just realizing that that's a group just like that meet in person that need to be shepherded and cared for and loved and nurtured into community and what that looks like. And so Pastor Owen is actually going to be moving away from Park Collective, and for the first time ever in the history of Heights, is going to be the very first online pastor. And so would you give Owen a hand?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I thought by 2022 we'd have flying cars and stuff. We're not quite that far, but we got online pastors now, so that's something. That's right. Yeah, I mean, John, you've said so well. Some of the heart behind online is, there are folks, I mean, you're with us right now online. That's one of the spaces, and you see there's something going on in the back of the coffee shop, and that's part of it, but there's so much more to it. I mean, our digital world touches all of us, and it's something we love to see grow into something that every one of us that's part of our church family, whether we're in a building or far beyond one of our buildings, that it can really touch, nourish, and enrich the lives of our church family. So that's the heart behind, I think, where we're headed.
And I love your heart as a shepherd to take that space and really start to lean into people that are gathering weekly across all our platforms, not just in this moment, and really see shepherding happen and care and community grow. I think that's one of the most exciting things is it's so new for the church to be doing this in spaces where you're not connected physically, getting outside of the walls and going, hey, there's still an opportunity to shepherd people and love people and see people cared for that we get to do in a unique way. And I'm glad that's you that's got to figure that out, but you're the man for the job.
Brave new world out here. Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, church, would you do me a favor? Would you give Owen one more hand? So Prescott Valley location, I know you're going, okay, hang on. Owen was our guy. What does that mean for us? So one of the things I want you to know is that this morning you had Pastor Ben, who was hosting the service there. Pastor Ben is now the Prescott Valley location pastor. That's what role he's shifting into. So Make sure you high five Ben. And what that means is he is there to shepherd, to care for, to make sure that you feel like you are loved well and nurture that community into all God has for you guys to be. And so if you have anything, need anything, Pastor Ben's your guy. You can go see him. So now that you're caught up on what's happening within the church, because we just thought you need to know so that you know why Owen's doing what he's doing and Pastor Ben's doing what he's doing. It's just amazing. You guys, we just got done with Thanksgiving. How grateful are we as a community that God is moving? Like that we get to be a part. Let's not take lightly that we get to be a part of something that God has moved us into, and that he is actively growing and using gifts and talents of us to do amazing things. It's like, I don't understand it. I know who I am. I know who our team is. But I also know who our Jesus is. And so getting to follow Jesus into these spaces is amazing. And so we're excited for the future. Don't know what it looks like fully. Don't know all the ins and outs, but we do know this, that God is bringing more and more people and going, hey, would you shepherd, care for, love well? And we're going to do that. We're going to help people live the life they were created for in Jesus. And so we'll continue to pursue that. We are in Advent. And Advent's always interesting every year, right? So if you're not familiar within the church calendar, there's 4 weeks leading up, like Kyle was saying, 4 weeks that lead up. And the goal is this, that we're looking back on the arrival of Jesus, right? So we're in expectancy of this day that hits our calendar every single year, where we stop one day and go, this is the day we celebrate the birth of Jesus. But the problem is, within our culture, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's wrapped around the Christmas season that it can become really easy to miss the point of the Christmas season entirely by what's wrapped around it. In fact, we would say that when it comes to even how we've decorated this year, that one of the things we're trying to get, some of you are like, what's wrong with the decorations? I kind of like them. Well, hang on, I'm probably about to offend you, okay? So, but even with our decorating, we've gone, hey, could we decorate in a way that feels cluttered? And it's just a visual representation that if we're not careful, what can happen with this season leading up to Christmas is it can feel so cluttered that we miss what the real purpose and the real moment is. The goal is this, that over the next 4 weeks, we slow down enough, we remind ourselves enough that what happens is it changes our Christmas season so that when we get to Christmas morning, our hearts and our souls are ready for what that day actually is. The goal is if we can declutter, right? And so these trees, my definition of these trees is that Christmas threw up on them. That's basically how I feel. We'll have tinsel for years around the church because of them. It is kind of cool that the tinsel dances to the sub. That's kind of neat. But here's the thing. If you think Christmas Vacation, you think Christmas Story. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it later. But here's the thing. Like that whole time frame was just, man, everything was kind of mismatched and it just felt cluttered. How do we declutter our Advent season? Here's what I mean. Like this season for you, if you have a job where as the Christmas season increases, so do your hours because there's just more work to do. Then the chances are you'll make more money, but you'll be so busy that by the end of it, you're just glad that you're through it. And that would be a definition of we just got too much stuff. Now, there's a phrase out there that I kind of like that I found in a minimalist podcast. They call it stuff-itis. And the idea of stuff-itis is this, that itis is inflammation, and we just have too much stuff inflaming our lives, especially in the Christmas season. That our lives just become so packed with stuff, we feel like our entire life is swollen and about to burst, so to speak. And it can be, like I said, it could be your job that it's just natural that you have these hours and this is just the season you're in. It could also be that you're just a party animal, right? You're that person. And what I mean by that is this, that every invitation that comes to you in the Christmas season, you're already a yes. And so you just, man, our church is doing something, we're there. The town's doing something, we're there. My job's doing something, we're there. Our friends are having a party, we're there. And by the end of it, you're just exhausted because you've been to so many parties, but you're like, it's awesome because I'm a party person. But your calendar's so full, you don't get to slow down and actually catch what your heart's saying and what your soul's saying. That maybe for you, it's, I'm not a party person, John, but man, I love to throw a good meal for a whole bunch of people. And you're already working on what your menu is. You're working on how to get that many tables. You're working on how many, and before long, you're packed with preparation because the house has to be a certain way. Your decorations need to not be this, and so you're just working to go, hey, I need to create a space for people. Or maybe you're that person that goes, hey, I have to get everybody a gift, and it has to be the exact gift, and you'll spend hours and hours and hours finding them the right gift. By the way, you ever have that moment where somebody gets you a gift? It's that person every year that gets you the gift. And when they get you the gift, you're like, okay, I have to act surprised, right? I know it's gonna be something I don't want, so I gotta act surprised. And I gotta act like I love it. You ever have that moment, or is that just me and 3 other people that were with me, right? And the worst part is the person comes back and goes, hey, did you like the gift? It's like 2 months later and you haven't taken the tag off it. You're like, yeah, it's great. I'm just saving it to give away, right? But the thing is, maybe you're that gift person and you stress yourself out every year of getting the exact right gift that will display your love for somebody. And it's not long before you've missed the point of Christmas for all the stuff of Christmas. And Advent's just a time where we slow down and it's unapologetic. Like there's every year we're gonna hit love, joy, hope, peace, every year. Why? Because those are the fundamental parts of what Christmas is about. And they're fundamental to the fruit of the Spirit that we inherit by being followers of Jesus. And so slowing down, we're gonna intentionally over the next weeks, today we slow down and we hit love. Can we pull back the layers of love to grasp what love really is and then live love out? Can we slow down long enough to go, let's take away all the clutter that surrounds it, catch what it is, and then go, hey, I'm gonna live this out. And so if you have a Bible, we're in John chapter 3 and verse 16, which some of you are like, that sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. I watch football, I see it. John 3:16 says this, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. For God so loved the world. That word world, you can take, it actually means people, not the material piece of the word, but the people of the world. For God so loved people. Instantly, there's some of you in the room that go, hey, that's true for those group of people. It's not true for me. We'll unpack that in a little bit. But what I need you to get is this. When it says, for God so loved people, I need you to take people and put your name there right now. For God so loved you. Love motivated God to act on your behalf. Love always, if you want to get a kind of a foundation level that we're stepping out on, love is a motivator in your life. How do I know? I could look at the actions of your life and tell you what you love most. Your actions are determined from this thing called love. You think about it in some context that people are consumed with their jobs. That their job is, I'm going to advance and I love my job, and so I'm going to advance up this ladder, whatever it happens to be, because I'm putting my actions into what I love. Or maybe that's not your deal, but you love stuff. You love being able to buy stuff. You love being able to have experiences of life, and they all cost money. So you don't love going to work because you're like, work is just work. But what work does is gives me money, and what money does is allows me to have those experiences. So what you actually love is those experiences, and love motivates you to go to work so that you can have experiences. Love is a motivator. Love motivates and drives us forward in action. If you want to know what you love, look at your actions and what you pursue with your time, energy, and talents and resources. Because those things will point you to, hey, this is what, when it comes to love. In the context of God, we find out from this verse, for God so loved people. What motivates the heart of God, what moves the heart of God is people. What motivates God is you. God moved because of you. God moved into action because of you. And part of that then, he goes, for God so loved the world that he gives a gift, right? Because love always gives. And love in this context, God goes, I gave the gift and it's my son. And so what we find in Luke chapter 2, again, these are familiar verses, but in Luke chapter 2, in the birth of Jesus, in verse 6, it says, while they, Mary and Joseph, were there, the time for the baby to be born, the time came for the baby to be born. Verse 7, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, which was Jesus. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. What happens in the context of God is he's motivated by love, and part of being motivated by love is people. That's what motivates him. And the action we get is God changing the proximity from where he was to where he is. So he moves, in this moment, he moves from heaven to earth. Love motivated God. The motivation was people, but love moves God to change the proximity. God has always been interested in changing the proximity. If you go all the way through Scripture, what you find is God is always moving towards people. He's always moving closer. What do I mean by that? You get to the first book of the Bible, the 3rd chapter in, and humans have gone, God, you're cool and all, but we're going to do it our way. God comes to them, and in the cool of the day, he walks alongside them, and he goes, hey, where are you? God changes the proximity to be close to them. Move a little bit forward, you come to a guy named Abram. And Abram doesn't even know it's coming, but God goes, I want to move and be closer to humanity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Abram, you're going to have descendants, and those descendants will bless the entire world. Those descendants will become a nation. And so Abram, I'm going to move closer through your descendants. Move forward to Moses. Moses rescues Abram's descendants out of Egypt. They end up in the promised land, and what God sets up there is a tabernacle where his presence can come and be. It's the closest God can be to sinful people. And why? Because God has always been moving towards people. God has always been changing the proximity. Why? Because love motivated God. What motivated him? You. And God's always been moving closer. Proximity is changed over and over and over. In this context, he goes from heaven to earth. Why? Because God so loved you that he changes proximity. Why change proximity? What does that do for anything? Well, when your proximity changes and you move into the same space as people, then you can go to dinner. And what Jesus does is now he's a grown man. He's as part of his ministry. And in Luke chapter 15, we find people complaining. And they're complaining specifically about what Jesus is doing. But in Luke 15:1, it says, now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathered around to hear Jesus. So the people that had no business being around Jesus or around a rabbi or around any kind of religion, they're there, right? As it's saying, the tax collectors and sinners, they're all gathered around. Verse 2 says, but the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, this man welcomes sinners and eats with them. What happens when you are motivated by love? You change proximity. You move towards. In this context, God is motivated by people. He moves towards people. So he goes heaven to earth. That's not enough. Now, in the context and the proximity of people, where do you find Jesus? Where do you find God? He is sitting at a dinner table, and he doesn't care who's there. Why? Because for God so loved people, that people is all inclusive. There's no one left out. It doesn't matter if you're a tax collector or a sinner. It doesn't matter if you're a religious elite. In God's context, he changed proximity. Why? Because he loves people. Why did he change proximity? To be in their presence, to sit at a table. Why did God go through the painstaking agony of becoming human and walking among us? Why? So that we would know what? That he loves us. That we would know what? That his proximity is towards us. That we would know what? That his presence is with us. As believers, we have one more step. Because when you got saved, this thing called the Holy Spirit came where? To live inside, right? What has God always been doing? He's been changing his proximity the whole time to be as close to you as humanly possible. And in the person of Jesus, he shows up to a dinner to remind us. There's some of you in this room that you go, John, you don't understand though, man. You don't understand what I've done. I don't deserve to be here. I'm not like those people. Pick your people in the room. I'm not like them. John, you don't understand. Like, I would be in this category of those that don't deserve to be at this dinner. Can I tell you, you are right where Jesus would be. Because Jesus is for you. And Jesus is pulling up a chair at your table. And he's not surprised by the sin. He's not surprised by how far out you think you are. He's not surprised by the things that you think hold you from him. But he pulls up a table and he is welcome at your table. Why? Because for God so loved you that he changed proximity to be in your presence and sit at your table. But there's a whole other group of people. And the other group of people, they're over here going, man, we've done everything. John, we've been faithful. So we followed religion to the absolute point, to the absolute letter of the law. John, I've been striving my whole life. And you're telling me that person's just as close? Yes. Yes. How do I know that? Because Jesus goes on to tell a story. And in the story, he tells a story about two brothers. You might be familiar with it if you've been around church. It's pretty common. But there's two brothers. Why two brothers? Because there's two groups of people. But the first brother, he goes like this. He comes to the father. The father represents God in the story. The first son comes to him and goes, hey, I wish you were dead. And you're like, well, that's a great way to start a conversation, right? But what he's saying is, hey, will you give me my inheritance? And in saying that, he's going, Dad, I wish you were already dead because I would have already got this. And the dad goes, well, let me help you out. Let me give you your inheritance. So he divides up his inheritance and he gives the son what he wants. The son goes off, and as young men do, without guidance, and often when their eyes are fully on themselves, they take what they've been given and they just squander it on good life. And so this kid's living it up. And wouldn't you know, the economy's about to turn. There's a famine that hits. And now all of a sudden, this son that had stepped away from his dad is now finding himself, hey, I don't have enough food. I'm actually starving. I'm going to go work for a farmer. And man, I just long for the food I'm giving to the animals because times are scarce. And so he gets a plan. He goes, you know what? I'll go back to my dad. And he gets this whole script, if you like. I'm going to say to my dad, when I get there, that Dad, I've sinned against you, and he's got this whole thing. And so he's making his way back. What I want you to see is this. If the Father represents God, what does God do? The Father is looking for the Son, the story says. And when he sees the Son, the Father is the one that runs towards the Son. What is he doing? What is God doing? Motivated out of love, God is closing proximity. Why? To be in the presence of his Son. What is God doing with you today if you feel far away from him? He is closing the proximity to you. Why? So he can be in your presence. Why? So he can know you and you can know the love of God. The son's there, and he's got his little script, and he begins to say the script, and the dad's like, I'm not even bothered. I'm not even going to listen. Hey, get a robe. Get a ring for his finger. Get some shoes on his feet. And all that represented is you're a son. You're not a servant. You're not a slave. You are a son. Why? Because he's defining the relationship. Why? Because in the presence of the person, you can define the relationship. The relationship grows. And then what does he do? He says, we got to have a party. We got to have a party. Get the fattened calf. Get the best meat. And let's just get the DJ and let's go. We're going to have a party. Why have a party? What happens at parties? People are where? Together, in proximity with one another, in the presence of one another. And what happens? Memories are made. Relationships are strengthened. And so the dad is what? Putting him in proximity with the family. He's putting him in the presence of the family. Meanwhile, there were 2 sons. Meanwhile, there's a son on the outside. And this son is in the field because he's always been in the field because he's always done everything right. He's never put a finger out of line. And he hears music, he hears the DJ, and then he calls for a servant and goes, hey, what's the ruckus? To which the servant says, well, your brother's home. Wait, we're having a party for my brother because he's back? Dad's never thrown a party for me. And what you find is the older son stays on the outside. What I want you to see is this. God the Father in the story is the one that goes outside to meet the older son. What is he doing? He's closing proximity. Why? To be in the presence of. And then where does he invite him? Into relationship. He goes to him and says, son, you've always been with me. Everything I have is yours. Come on in. And you can imagine if you're the people that are sitting there, those that feel far from God, all of a sudden understand why Jesus is sitting at their table, because he's moving towards them. And on the other side, you have the religious who think God should act a certain way and God should be a certain way. I wonder how many of us, just by growing up in a Western world where we put things into dichotomies and we separate things out, I wonder how many of us grew up with an image of God that God is up there distant and God is just waiting for you to step out of line. And in fact, he's looking down today and he's like, oh, just wait, Gabriel, wait. They're gonna cuss. Just wait. Ah, there it is. Yep. No Christmas for them. I mean, if we're honest, that's the kind of God we grew up with. That's the way God's depicted within our culture, that he's just waiting for you to mess up. He's just waiting for you to not be good enough. He's just waiting for you to prove what he's always known. And then he's going to come after you with the largest stick that he's got and beat you. He's going to make your life miserable. Can I tell you that the story that Jesus brings to the dinner table is the story of the gospel, where God is moving toward you and always has been. Why? Because he loves you and he's been motivated by love to move towards you. And when he got in proximity, he sits at a table with you and has dinner, which was an intimate moment of fellowship in that culture. If you were doing that, you were saying, hey, I'm all right with you. So much so that in Matthew 11, this was the reputation of Jesus. In verse 19, the Son of Man, this is Jesus, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend. Get this, this is what they're throwing at him. This Jesus, he's a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is proved right by her deeds. He's a friend. So the accusation they throw at Jesus is what? He's a friend. Can you believe he hangs out? That word friend, by the way, has the element of love in it. It's relational. Can you believe he has a relationship of love with tax collectors and sinners? I can. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. For God so loved the world that he closed the proximity to you and me. For God so loved you, and one translation says that he moved into the neighborhood. And he pulled up a chair at dinner. That's how close he wants to be. See, something happens when we close proximity and we get into the presence of one another. It's found in John 15. And the context of John 15 is that Jesus is about to go to the cross. He's about to leave his disciples. He's about to leave these guys that he's walked alongside for 3.5 years, and he's telling them kind of like his last remarks, so to speak, before he goes on trial and ends up on the cross. Listen to what he says to them. I no longer call you servants because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends. For everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. This is my command, love each other. What does Jesus do? He changes proximity. He gets in presence. He's alongside them for 3.5 years. And what does he tell them? Hey, I used to think of you as servants. I now call you friends. Why? Because when you get into the presence of someone, when you change proximity and you're there with them, relationships are formed in a whole new way. I'll be honest with you, I love FaceTime. It's a gift to our culture. But you know what I hate about FaceTime? Is when my daughter from Texas FaceTimes with me, she's there, but she's not. I can see her facial expressions, but I can't hug her, right? I can see it, and I know what? That there's limitations to that moment. Oh, we've closed proximity, but there's limitations. When she comes this Christmas on the 16th of December, yeah, I'm counting days. When she gets here, guess what? The proximity changes, which allows for the presence of each other to be where? In each other's space. And the relationship, that's where love grows and develops. That's what God's been doing with us the whole time. Love motivates you to action. Love motivates you to change the proximity. Love motivates you to not only change proximity, but to get in the presence of the person. Jesus went from heaven to earth to dinner. And for us, we have the moment to step out. My wife and I, when we were dating, we were in college at the time. And she was from California. We were going to school in Wisconsin. And so for the summer, she was going back to California. I was staying in Wisconsin because that's where my brother was. And so she goes to California. 3 weeks later, I go to visit her and hang out for 2 weeks. And we make a decision in that 2 weeks that I was supposed to go back, and then we'd have 8 weeks apart. So I went back as planned, but later that week, she got on a plane and moved to Wisconsin for the summer. Now, those of you that aren't familiar with Wisconsin, the winters are terrible. The summers are terrible. There's maybe a week in spring that's nice and a week in the fall, but other than that, why is summer terrible? You have humidity, it's hot, and they have this state bird called the mosquito, and it's just everywhere, right? And reality is that why would she give up? This is a little sensitive, okay? Think of California as good, okay? Because I know some of you. I love California. I'm just gonna be honest. There's a beach. There's a climate that's amazing. There's people that I love, right? But here's the thing. Why would she leave the beach, the weather, the dream summer to come to Wisconsin? Because of love. Why? Because love motivates you. She lived in a dorm room with no air conditioning. Why? Because love motivates you. She was blind, for sure. Love motivates you. Meanwhile, I'm in AC at my brother's house. Why would she do that? Because love motivates you to change proximity so that you can be in the presence. Here's what I know. You don't have to be a great marriage counselor to sit with a couple, and when you ask him, hey, what's going on? And he goes, well, I'm living here and she's in New York. I got a real easy fix for your marriage. Either you move to New York or she moves here. But whatever you do, you got to get in the presence of each other. You got to be under the same roof. Why? Because when you get into a space where you are present with one another, love can grow. You know what's fascinating about Christmas? I've blown so many. So many. And you know what I blew them in? The name of God. Because for so many Christmases, I was here on this campus. And I would put in hours and hours, and this isn't a woe is me. Please don't hear it that way. But I would put in hours and hours and hours and hours to make it the best possible Christmas, to put Jesus on display. But you know where I wasn't present? At home. In fact, my anniversary is on the 16th of December. And my wife and I often didn't do anything on the 16th of December. You know why? Because I was here with Pastor Austin doing Christmas stuff. In fact, Pastor Austin came up to me after last service. He goes, I think I spent 4 anniversaries with you. You see, you can be Christmas morning and completely miss it. For me, I would work till the last minute that I possibly could Christmas Eve to make sure everything was wrapped up. I would go home. The next day, I was exhausted. And y'all, everything was in place. There were presents under the tree. There were stockings hanging up. There was food on the table. There was family gathered round. You know who was there but wasn't really there? This guy. When my kids would open their presents and I was just as surprised as they were, that's not a good thing, dads. See, don't miss Christmas Day because you were so busy back here letting something else motivate you. Your actions show what motivates your love. And you can be in the presence of people and not be present. You realize what all of Christmas is about, right? When you go and you get that, we used to have a guy on staff that when the gingerbread latte would come out, he'd be like, oh, it's Christmas in my mouth. Christmas has started. And then Starbucks canceled it. Thanks, Starbucks. But you realize a good latte that does that to you is better with someone else. So the latte is just an invitation to what? Change proximity, to change presence and be present with another person where love grows inside of relationship. You realize when you get gifts under the tree this year, the gifts are just an opportunity for you to be present. They just put you in proximity with the person. What matters is what happens to the relationship because that's where love grows. If all we do is exchange gifts, it's hollow. When you go to a Christmas event, it's great to attend an event, but how much better when you attend it with people and you're in proximity with people and love is able to grow. In closing, I love that it says the last line there, this is my command, love each other. What do we do this Christmas? Let's make it real easy. Love each other. How do we do that? For God so loved the world that he changed the proximity to provide presence so a relationship could grow. Let me ask you, in your life today, who do you need to change proximity with so that you can be present? How can you provide your presence to them knowing that that's the context where love and relationship can really grow? How do we worry more about that than we worry about the gift we're getting somebody? How about we worry about the moment that we're with them instead of what food we're putting on the table because that stresses it out and we're exhausted and when they leave we're like, oh, we're done. Everybody falls asleep on the couch. But who can you move towards? What is love motivating you towards? For some of you, you've realized that, wait a minute, John, you're saying that Jesus is at the table. I don't know if I'm at the table. That's okay. There's no condemnation, but just know where you are. If you're still okay with Jesus being on earth, but not at the table, there's some growth that needs to happen in your relationship with Jesus. And that's what Christmas is about. So can you alter your presence to match where Jesus is? We have a couple of real practical opportunities coming up. One is this Friday night in this room. One of the things that we've kind of fallen in love with as a church family is if we can connect the moments of Advent when we go through and talk about love, if we can connect that to an action of love, that's something we found real value in. And so this week in this room, on Friday night, there's a veterans dinner. And what I love about it is this, that we know during this season, it can be real, real lonely for our veterans. And so it's a way to say, hey, we see you, we love you, we are for you, you are not alone. We're just throwing a dinner party. And any veteran and their family, you're invited. But who's also invited is those of you that just want to be there to say, hey, we love you. I'll change my proximity to be in presence to let you know that you are loved and change the relationship. And so you can sign up to be a server, which means you just carry food to tables. That's all you do, and just be real friendly and real bright. Or you may go, hey, John, there's no more signups. Then just show up and let's line the room all the way around, and let's just clap at the appropriate time. Let's just encourage at the appropriate time, and let's hoot and holler for our veterans just to let them know, hey, we have changed because of love. We are motivated. Why? So that we can change our proximity to be present with you tonight. Because we love you. Why? Because God loves you a whole bunch. It's that easy. On your way out today, you'll find that wherever it is, if you're on the PV location on your way out, whether it's here or even on the online family, we have step-ins for you. But you can get a green bag. What does the green bag have? It has a list of items to get and put in that green bag. So this week you'll do that, bring it back next week, and you'll leave your green bag here. But it's called a bring and take. So if you know somebody that you go, oh man, my coworker, they could use some food this time of year. It's been real hard for them. Or my neighbor, or my kids, the family on my kids' soccer team, or whatever it happens to be. But what the bag becomes is an opportunity for you to go, hey, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna change my proximity to that person, I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna, in the presence of handing a bag, I'm gonna let them know, hey, I see you and I love you, and I'm motivated towards you. Those of you that are here and you go, man, John, I could use a bag, then take a bag, that's what it's for. But it's a bring and take. You bring it, others take it. Why? Because love motivates us to action. And so as you step in this Advent season, let's strip back all the clutter. What needs to be decluttered in your world when it comes to love so that you don't miss what love is all about? And let's take our example from a God who loves us so much, that he would change his proximity to become like us. Why? So that he could leave his spirit in us, that we would never be alone. It's beautiful. Would you pray with me? God, we come before you. God, thank you for this season. Thank you for the reminder of who you are and what you've done for us. God, thank you for loving us the way you do. God, thank you that the story of our lives, the story of our humanity, is that we have a God who cares deeply in the core of who you are. And you have moved towards us. That you are present with us. That we could sense and feel your love. That we would know who you are and what you're like. That our relationship would change, that we would become friends of God because of the cross. God, that stirs in us a celebration that we should be joyful and triumphant about. And so God, in these next moments as we raise our voices, would it be out of hearts of gratitude that we just say thank you. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for rescuing us. Thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for loving us first. And everybody said, amen.
Would you please join us and stand just for one last song? Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem.
Veterans Dinner's coming up this Friday. I know I will be there. We would love to see you guys there. On your way out in the lobby, we have the Heights local crew. Angela and Colby will be out there to answer questions, to get you signed up. If you or someone you know would like to either attend or serve, you can head over to heightschurch.com/events. Scroll down and it'll be right there. That's heightschurch.com/events. Family, I had a great morning. I don't know about you, but I've had a wonderful, wonderful morning today. On your way out, as these garage doors open up, we are gonna have those green bags for the bring and take. Make sure you grab one of those if you would like to contribute to that event next weekend. If you have something on your heart, if you've just come in today and you're carrying some burden, something that you just need to put before God, we're gonna have a prayer team up front. They would love to just step in, have a chat with you, and pray to God to just relinquish whatever it is that you're carrying today. Well, guys, really do appreciate y'all being here. For those that are online, we really appreciate you guys. Stick around. Pastor John's gonna be online to give you some bonus content. For everyone else, you guys, have a great week.
Hey guys, it is awesome to have you with us. Love having you. We wrap up this awesome Christmas for a kickoff to our Advent season. John can't even contain himself, just humming those Christmas songs.
I'm just singing.
All excited. He's here.
Oh, man.
He's here for it, which is
Let's
awesome.
go.
It's awesome.
Let's go.
As we're winding things down, we're going to stick around, have a little bonus conversation with John about today's message. And anything else you want to talk about, he's usually up for pretty much whatever. So,
Yeah, whatever.
Drop it in the chat and say hello. In the meantime, real quick, as we wrap things up here today, just want to let you know, first of all, you are so invited to always be with us in person. We love having you here online. These are equal spaces, so there's no, not one preferred over the other, but if you're local, especially around holiday times, if you feel like you are, you're struggling, feeling isolated, feeling alone, I just ask you, hey, get brave and come inside and hang out with us. And you can even be someone that kind of, sits around the edges. You don't have to jump right in the middle and be a crazy extrovert. You can just come in, hang out. You're going to find people here that love you. And we would love to connect with you that way. So just as a reminder, Saturday nights we're at Park Collective at 5:30. Then we're out there at 10:30 on Sundays. And then right here at Prescott location, 8:30 and 10:30 every Sunday morning. And we got some special Christmas services coming up too, the 23rd and 24th. We're going to have 3 services both days.
Yep.
And it's going to be fun. Guys, we're bringing out all the stops to make some cluttered Christmas fun and mayhem. So listen, make that the time you come and hang out with us in person if you haven't done it yet. And then lastly, just want to let you know real quick, last kind of housekeeping thing as the chat's building up here. We just want to let you know this Veterans Dinner coming up on Friday that we've talked about before service. John mentioned it. Kyle mentioned it. You can step in a couple ways. If you're local, you can actually just RSVP to join if you're a veteran. Just simply go to our website, heightschurch.com, and then /Advent. I'm going to drop that in the chat right now for your chance to RSVP there. You can also serve there. Someone was asking about that earlier. And so you can do that. And then the last thing you can do is actually send a note of encouragement to one of the veterans at that dinner. All you got to do, I dropped this in the chat as well. There's a quick little form online. Just send a note of love and encouragement, and then we will actually print those out and have those on the table at the Veterans Dinner. So even if you're not around,
awesome.
Still be part of what we're doing. So, okay. So with
amazing.
That, someone's asking, was John just singing?
I
Yes.
think so. I think so. I
Yes.
don't know when it cut, but I'm guessing I was.
Would you like? I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. You can, a few
No, I'm
bars.
good.
If
I'm
you
good.
wanna do.
I'm good.
That's good. Perfect, man.
For the sake of people's ears, we're good.
Oh, man. All right. So, in fact, Peter is in the chat right now. John, what would you say to Peter? Peter says, I'm relatively new to this church. The last 2 that I attended became very judgmental, and I felt unsafe after the chaotic events of last year. I'm having trouble trusting here, too. Anything, word you'd offer, encouragement for Peter?
Peter, I would say that, first of all, I'm sorry. I don't think there's anywhere in Scripture that you find that church should be a place that becomes unsafe or unwelcome. I do hope that you find that the message we preach from stage about grace and a God of love like this morning, that what you find and experience was within the family, that's what we're striving to be. I think what's interesting is any church you go to, and you know this, but any church you go to, you're going to have broken people.
Yeah.
And broken people do, I'm guilty as charged. I do stupid things,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I don't notice somebody and I'm staring right at them because that's just sometimes where I'm at. I'm there, but I'm not present, right?
Yeah.
And it hurts. And so I would just say that, each one of those you got to hold before the Lord, and anything that's done in intent, man, that's just not what we would strive towards. So
Yeah. It ties in a way, maybe even with today's conversation about presence. Because here's the thing, if any of us that have been around church or religious people for any
Yeah.
length of time, and you and I both, in our stories, this is a big
Yep.
part of our story.
Yep.
I mean, for me, it's a huge part of my story. And you get hurt in those environments
Yep.
because people are broken
Yep.
and selfish. Even
Yep.
if they don't mean to be, it's just kind of by default how we are until
Yep.
Jesus does something
And,
in us,
and the
right?
only thing you can do if you're in a culture of religion, the only thing you can do is be better or worse than somebody.
Yeah.
And so you're always
Yeah, you're
scaling.
trying
always
to
looking
rank
at the
everybody.
scale.
You're trying to level up on
And so the
everybody
only
else.
thing you're going to
Yeah,
do
that's
is
right.
hurt somebody, because you're either putting somebody down to look better than them, or you're trying to drag somebody down to be ahead of them. Versus when we all come in on the same foundation of grace,
Yeah.
man, we're all here and we're just works in progress and becoming more like
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then sometimes, I find myself sometimes going, it's literally when I have those memories or hesitations pop up, it's just simply I tell myself, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, we can also learn from that
Yeah.
and make sure, like, hey, when, I'm
Yeah.
with people at church,
Yeah.
well, don't be that guy. I know what it's like to feel excluded.
Yep.
So, so that's the other side of this too, which I love this conversation we're in about
Yeah.
just being with and being present.
Yeah.
And we had a little poll going on here, John, about just ask people what keeps you from being present with people this Christmas.
Okay.
So you can jump in there if you want in the chat and answer the poll. You got there's kind of a tie between three here. I feel too busy. I'm too shy.
Okay.
And I don't feel
I feel
confident.
that.
Yeah. So you feel that? You feel that I'm shy?
Yeah, I'm just not, like, God didn't wire me to be extroverted. So, like, for me, it's going to be like my version of providing presence in a crowd is
Yeah.
going to be a couple of people.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, man,
Hey,
I floated
everybody.
around the whole thing and I met everybody and, man, we're high-fiving. And I have an element of that. I think we've talked about it. It's the professional pastoral extrovert that you have
Right.
to be.
Right.
But I think my natural would be, hey, because of how God wired me, I'm more drawn to a couple of conversations where I'll stay for a while than I am the flitter around the room and everybody's like, oh man, it was cool to hang with John. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, this is not me.
All right. So can I ask a little bit
And
personal?
the busy, man. I feel the busy.
Oh, for sure. Like, so someone, and I think it's honestly, it's how you're created and wired. It's totally fine to be introvert.
Right.
You don't have to be the life of the
Right.
party to be with people.
Right.
Those are two
Right.
separate things. So for you, just personally, like, what are, anything you've done or you find yourself like that helps you, like, kind of overcome that little bit of the shy or the hesitancy
Mm-hmm.
to go, hey, I'm gonna make my presence felt. Let this person know
Yep.
I'm with them. What do you?
Yeah, but one of the things is what you said. It's looking around the room and finding people. I would love to say I'm spiritual enough to say I stand there and pray and God leads me. That's rare.
Yeah.
Right? For me, it's more I look around the room and go, hey, could I draw next to that person?
Yeah.
Or if there's somebody in my life, then I have to be really intentional. So let's say it's somebody in my life that we haven't really hung out, but I want to change that, and I've got to make the first move, then I have to be intentional and physically put it on my calendar,
Yeah.
or else it won't happen.
Yeah.
Because, and then the other part, I don't know if this happens to you, but for me, it's like anytime I got to go somewhere, like it can be even with my family, and we're going over to somebody's house or we're going to this event with these people, my natural inclination is I would prefer to stay and recharge by myself.
Yeah.
And so I have to
Yeah.
push beyond that to go, no, this is good and it will be good. Even if I drag myself into it, every time I come back, I'm like, that was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun to
Just
hang out
kind of
with
like
them.
giving
Yeah.
yourself that. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, push it. And let's be honest, if we haven't experienced a lot of people doing that with us, like being present, showing us love, we can feel shy about,
Yeah.
like, we have the heart for making the move, but we don't really sure
Yeah.
if we're doing it right or it's
Yeah.
going to be well received or
Yeah.
all that.
And then I think too, with that, everybody's awkward. There's not a person on
what are
the
you
planet
talking
who's
about,
not awkward.
John? I'm not
right?
awkward. What are you talking
But
about?
for some reason, we think our awkwardness is like what if I go and I'm
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
Everybody's awkward. Just own it.
Dude, I had
Put
this
skin on it.
conversation this weekend with my boys. So we went to see some family for Thanksgiving. And so, you know, we drove over there. So I'm giving them the pep talk in the truck a little bit. 'Cause they're, you know, like I was telling you guys, like they're 8 and 6. They're pretty, but they're a little more on the quieter side, you know. And so I was just like, okay, boys, you know, hey, we're going to get there. You know, walk inside. You're going to speak nice and loud. You know, give everybody hugs, handshakes. And then I was like, boys, here's the thing is, you know how you feel when you walk into a room and you question, like, do you belong there? Or will people see me? Or what will they think of me? I was like, every person alive feels that. And so your job is to go into the space and answer those questions for them.
So good.
And if you do that,
So good.
then you're going to feel good. They're going to
Yep.
feel good too.
Yep.
Because they're wondering, what's he going to think when he sees, you know?
Yep.
It's like, just answer those questions
Yep.
for them, and then everybody's going to feel fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
So good.
But okay, another one. So what about busyness? Talked a little bit about it. There's another one. I mean, have you found any? And here's because I had somebody actually in the chat. Peggy was like, I hope you're listening to this staff because I know you pastors get busy around Christmas. No, we don't do anything. Christmas it's super fun. But here we are, right? We're in a line of work or whatever we call it.
Right.
Work. Christmas it's crazy. We love it. We're here for it, but it's crazy. Anything you're doing this Christmas that's a little different, or you want to do this Christmas, it's a little different to create space to be with the people you love.
Yeah. So speaking of like you did something and then you regret it and then you don't and then you do and it's going to be great when you get there.
Yeah.
So this weekend I'm actually going away. Some friends of ours provided a retreat weekend.
Nice.
And so Cindy and I are going to go away. But to do that in December, like my wife was like, are you sure you want to do this in December? And I'm like, yes, it will force me to.
Yeah, this is time.
And she's like, are you sure? So even like 2 weeks ago, she's like, are you And I'm like, we just need to. And so it's been one of those where I'm back and forth, right? Because I'm like, oh, it's the worst time. And at the same time, it's the right time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's setting us up. So like I'm intentionally already planning within and I didn't tell anybody this week, but within the teaching calendar this month, there's some exciting things happening.
Yeah.
But those are intentional to provide space and provide so that it's not just this, man, I grind all the way out to Christmas Day. I did hear, it's funny you ask, I was on my way home from Park Collective last night and service out there with the PV crowd. And I was listening to a podcast. And the part of the podcast I hit, they were talking about this exact thing of how do you create in your day space for the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And the person they wrote a book on boundaries and that kind of stuff. And they were saying that they intentionally leave blocks in their day with nothing in them. And the prayer is, Holy Spirit, what do you want to fill that with? Is it a phone call to somebody? Is it hey, I'm going to walk around a couple of offices and just see how people are doing? I'm going to go pick up cookies and give everybody cookies today. Like, what is it that you want me to do in this, but this is your time. I'm not going to busy
I love
you.
that.
Yeah, so
It's practical and
it's
yeah,
soon. It's
make
cool.
time. Put it on. I mean, put it in the schedule.
I haven't done it yet, but
I think that's
hopefully coming.
That's
but-
brilliant. That's brilliant. So looking in the chat real quick, let's see. Allison makes this comment. She says, "Hey, we're all broken. When you surround yourself with like-minded people who love Jesus, amazing things start to happen." Love
Yeah.
that, Allison.
Yep.
Got Tim in here following up on our conversation with Peter, just saying he's only attended twice in person and it felt loved. We're online until we retired at Prescott. So Tim,
awesome.
we're glad you're with us.
Yeah.
I'm glad anytime you're around. I was just talking to Richard, who was in the chat earlier today. He rolled through for business. He was here in Prescott, came by and saw us and got to know us. Like, man, if you ever roll into town, you have to let us know so we can
Is that
say hi.
Lancaster Richard?
That's Lancaster
All right.
Richard. He's out there too. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, those are great tips, John. Anything else you want to talk about just this idea of being present and helping us kind of adopt that, the Jesus mindset? He came and closed a gap to be with us.
It was you this week.
Me?
Yeah, and so you remember in sermon prep you were talking about
Yeah.
but you said something and it's stuck with me and it's just kind of grown.
Hey,
But
guys, I said one thing.
that these are all just opportunities.
Yeah.
And that for me is the sticking point, is everything in your Christmas season, everything you think of. A movie. I mean, I don't know if there's any good Hallmark movie, but like a Hallmark movie is better for my wife when she watches it with me or the kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so just the idea that a movie can be an opportunity to create that proximity change for presents to exist.
Yeah.
So everything in the Christmas calendar, literally everything, is all things that can be opportunities to be with people.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's determined on me whether I take it or not.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
But that was you, man.
Hey, now, I
was
mean,
you.
as a as more of a doer than a beer by default, I got to tell myself all the time, like, putting this Christmas tree up is not about the Christmas tree. It's about what's happening around, all that, all the time. I got to tell myself. Yeah. And so, I mean, for those of us that, feel shy about stepping in, let me just encourage you, like, don't be shy.
Yeah.
Everyone feels what you feel around Christmas and
Absolutely.
the holidays. And so, I mean, imagine just one
Okay,
person.
I got one tip. One tip.
Oh, you do? Okay, here we go.
So to get around your shyness,
Okay.
serve.
Oh, I like that.
Because it gives you a task.
Yeah, that's a good.
So you can be shy and be a greeter, and you'll be amazing. Because you have a task. It's
Yep.
expected. Because I think that's where it breaks down.
You don't
right?
have to like just cold break the ice.
Yeah.
Right, but serve. Love
Yeah.
it.
Just
Yeah.
serve, and then either that'll put you around people that are also serving, which will be relationships and presence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or your act of serving will put you in contact with people. I mean, it's just, and that doesn't have to be with the church. That can be with your kid's school. That can be wherever.
That's beautiful. There you go. Find somewhere to serve. Show a little love this Christmas.
There you go.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Well, guys, with that, we're gonna let you go. Get ready for next week. Looking ahead, anything you want to give us any hints or clues about next week? Or are we gonna keep this? Gonna keep it pretty
Next week is
pretty tight.
I mean, if I say it's never been done at Heights, I think that might be some form of exaggeration. But to my knowledge, what we're going to do with the teaching in particular hasn't been done at Heights.
Okay.
So
we got a surprise for you.
little surprise.
Little surprise
Little
for you
Christmas
next week.
surprise.
Little Christmas surprise.
Oh, and I didn't say it in this service.
Yeah.
And that online family, you have to commit to it. But the 18th, the weekend of the 17th, I think it's 17, 18.
Yeah.
The last one before Christmas. That weekend is Ugly Sweater. Church family, Ugly Sweater, Sunday,
We're all
Saturday,
doing it?
Sunday. Yes.
This is a thing?
Everybody, Ugly Sweater.
Yes.
Because that week is joy.
I love that. Okay, so if you're how about let's do this? All right, if you're social media savvy, no, that's not everybody. Find your ugly sweater.
Now I like this. I like where
Take
you're
a
going.
picture,
Yes.
ugly sweater, and just send us a Facebook message or on Instagram, or you can even send me an email, hello@heightschurch.com. Send a picture with your ugly Christmas sweater.
Yes.
And maybe if you send it
Yes,
early
yes,
enough,
yes.
we can do something and we can show off our ugly
Do
Christmas
a turn
sweaters.
contest.
Yeah. Oh,
You got something to give away?
What kind of stuff should we give away? I don't know. All right, I'll figure it out.
Oh, actually, I got one for you.
Okay. See, this is why you stick around for bonus content.
Another surprise.
right.
We are creating sweatshirts.
Oh, we're doing something with the sweatshirts.
Oh, you already got something with those?
Yeah, we got a
Okay.
plan.
All right.
No, it's a good plan. But we're doing sweatshirts. There's going to be a giveaway on the sweatshirts.
Okay, so you already got a giveaway on that. So let's
We
go.
got that dialed.
We'll do this. Coffee of choice. We'll mail it to you.
Just send you some coffee.
Coffee of choice.
And if
Or a place. If you're an avid Starbucks, Dutch Bros,
Okay.
whatever.
in fact, how about this? I will buy you coffee at that place.
Ooh.
If you're anywhere where I can physically drive to
so
you.
now we're
How we-
wait,
because
wait,
I'm an
wait.
online pastor now, like, this is literally all I got to
you
do. This is
physically
awesome.
drive. So if you're in Alabama, is that physical
Are we
drive?
doing a road trip? Will you come with me? I will do my best. If you're in the Quad Cities, I will for sure. But no, I'll hook you up with some coffee.
I would say in the state of Arizona.
You think state of Arizona?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
doable.
All right, let's do it.
Why
okay.
not? Why not?
You know what? Here's where I've always wanted to go to Bisbee.
I've been to Bisbee.
You've been to
Is it
Bisbee?
Bisbee?
I don't know. You
Is
tell
that
me.
down by the border?
Yeah, it's down. It's like the big copper mine
Okay.
and all that jazz down there.
Is it Bisbee? Okay, I've been.
Tijuana is
it
another place by the border.
Is it
I've been.
below? No, is it below Tucson?
Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
I don't know if it's Bisbee. Okay, so the mission organization I was with
Okay.
had their aviation.
Oh yeah. No, that's Douglas.
Douglas.
Weirdly, I know exactly where
Douglas.
that
How
is.
do you know
no,
that?
I don't even. That's weird. Weird facts.
Okay, not Bisbee. Never
But
mind.
no, that's the same genre. No,
Okay.
Bisbee's like, all right. So I'm just saying, if you're from Bisbee, you have a really good chance of winning because I'll probably cheat and pick you.
Yeah.
I don't cheat. I'm a pastor. I don't do that.
Well, you know.
Dude, that's fun. Okay, so you have until now and like the 18th, that weekend, Ugly sweaters, let's go. And I'm going to wear one too. Do you have an ugly sweater you're going to wear?
I mean, I have. Somebody gave me one, but I can't tell you what it is.
Okay, you're gonna. But you. So you
But
have one.
I don't know if I can wear it to preaching. It might be a little short.
Okay, that's.
You know they have
didn't need that
they
image.
have Formula One.
Richard's here in the chat.
They have Formula One, Richard. Formula One ugly sweaters.
Richard says, "Thank you for putting Owen over us." By the way,
Yeah,
shout out,
dude.
Richard. We
best,
love you guys.
Best of the best.
Seriously.
Let's go.
Okay, so you got things to do. Ugly sweater. Go find
sweater.
your ugly sweater. You got to send a note to veterans. I'll post that here while we wrap up, and then find a way to serve.
Dude,
this
online
Christmas. I love
community is
that.
just popping.
It's happening right now,
Popping.
you guys. Okay, so with that, guys, you are so loved. We love connecting with you. This is not the only space we can do it. You can download our app. Awesome. Find us on social media. Tim says, we will be here that week. I need a sweater. Yes, you do, Tim.
Yeah.
So if you're planning to make a visit, represent online. Ugly sweater. Perfect. I love it. All right, with that, audio engineer, really tall Justin wants to go get lunch, so we got to wrap this up.
Lori Hunt, I see you.
Oh, Lori.
Lori's great.
Elkie wants to know if we can drive to Ohio. For you, Elkie, I won't drive.
Can we go to a Pittsburgh game? Can we just keep going?
Steelers? I think she's going to be offended by wanting to. She's
Look.
in Ohio. They don't want to go to a Steelers game.
She's a Steeler fan.
Southeast of Tucson, Tim says that's Bisbee. I live in Prescott Valley, but if I win, we take a road trip to Bisbee?
Oh, there you go.
we
Dude, you're
go.
going to Bisbee either way.
Let's send it, guys.
Oh,
Justin is
man.
like, what is happening?
Pamela
with
and
this
Bama's
show?
going to join you in Bisbee,
Let's
bro.
do road trip. Okay, I'm going to tell you what, though, and we'll leave with this. Online has some fun things coming, you guys. And I would love a world where I take a road trip and I come see you. Seriously. We'll talk about more about this January. All that's coming up. But there's a world where,
Well, never mind.
What?
That's for another day.
all right, no dreams.
Dream road trip in a van, all that good stuff. But
I could probably get John out here if we set up a really good road trip.
it's true.
And if you have a place with barbecue near you, then
I mean, if you're taking me to the Steelers
okay.
and we're hitting, I'm down.
All right.
We'll
See?
hit a couple places on the way.
So let's make online fun. And let's start by wearing those sweaters, having fun with us. And we love. And by the way, a question in here. Once again, Christmas services. Okay, so you can mark your calendar for this special Christmas services on the 24th and 25th. We're going to have three services.
24th,
I'm sorry,
25th?
23rd, 24th.
Yes.
23rd, 24th. We're going to have Christmas services here at our Prescott location. 3 services a day. They're all going to be the same, so you can come to one, and it's just like coming to all. We're going to have all kinds of stuff for moms, kids. I mean, I won't spoil any surprises for you yet. It's going to be a blast. We will also be here online for some of those services as well, and then we have a special surprise coming that's actually hosted by our online on the 25th as well. So we got you covered for Christmas here online. But if you want to make a plan,
gift to you and your family.
beautiful.
Yep.
All right. So with that, guys, we're out. Love you so much.
Love you guys.
If nothing else, join us here next week once again at 10 o'clock Arizona time, where we will kick off another week of awesome services here. Advent continues next week, and more surprises are coming. So
There you go.
with that, my friend, you are so loved. Have a great rest of your Sunday. We will see you soon.
Love you guys.
Bye for now.
But the fire is so delightful. Since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Shows no signs of stopping. I brought some corn for popping. Lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out the store. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. is still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.